Yo guys, I don't know what I'm doing with my arms, but I hope you guys are having a good week. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm drinking a smoothie and we're going to be chatting about all the books I've read in January. So, January was an interesting reading month. It's kind of weird because in December, I had read 21 books, and then in January, I read 7 books. So, it's a dramatic increase. I only read a third of the books that I read in December, but as I've kind of discussed in some of my videos, I just feel like every new year, I just get such, in a reading slump, and I do have a plan on how to, talk about reading slumps. I just realized I knocked over my ramen 1 second. Even though I only read 7 books, that's perfectly fine. I still have a lot of chance to get those 10 book per month reading goals and above to get to my yearly goal of 120 books. I'm just gonna go over all the books that I read this month. It was a pretty good reading month and I had a lot of fun new books to talk about, a lot of hyped books that some people have been talking about on book Twitter and on booktube that I wanted to check out. So let's just get through all my thoughts. Let's get started. Let's get rock and rolling. Let's start partying. Okay, sorry, let's just go. Leave a like, subscribe. Alright, so the first book that I read this month was The Cemetery Boys by Adrian Thomas. I said Adrian Thomas, I meant Aiden Thomas. But this book has been hyped up. I saw this on Twitter probably 3 months ago. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was buying about it, raving about it and everything. And so I wanted also to try it. And basically what ended up happening was I saw it on Libby and I was like, why not place a hold? And it took 10 weeks, but it finally got here in January. So I read it as soon as I got it. And it's basically this fun book about this trans boy named Yadriel who is trying to prove his gender to his family. I want to read my review from Goodreads because I thought it was just poetic, so I mean, I'll have to share. So I ended up rating it 4.5 stars, and here's my highlighted quote. It was my life, and it was my choice how I decided to live it. Cemetery Boys was such a fun book to start off 2021. This story takes place with Yadriel, an openly trans boy who's set on proving that he's a real brujo to his family. When Yadriel performs a sacred ritual to attain his family's respect, his cousin goes missing and he accidentally summons a ghost named Julian. Yadriel teams up with Maritza, his best friend, and Julian to solve the mystery of Julian's death and his cousin's disappearance. Inspired by urban fantasy and the Latinx culture, Cemetery Boys was an absolute gem. From the iconic and lovable characters, the passionate and emotional teen romance, and the magical plot twist, you won't be able to put this down. It took a while to get into, and some parts felt slightly like an info dump, which is why I gave it a 4.5 stars. I probably read the back half of the book in only 2 sittings. Highly recommend if you're looking for a newly released LGBTQIA+ fantasy romance. So yeah, those are basically my thoughts. I thought this was such a great romance. It had a lot of kind of twists at the end especially. I was like, oh my gosh, this felt like an action movie almost. And Aiden Thomas, you did a great job. I really enjoyed this work, and I definitely recommend you guys read it. Alrighty, next up we have got The Poison Jungle by Ty S. Sutherland. Or Ty T. Sutherland. I keep getting these author names wrong. Oh my goodness. This is the 13th book in the Wings of Fire series, and it's really kind of a good timing because the 14th book in the Wings of Fire series is coming out March 2nd, one of my most anticipated books of the year, and just about, I think exactly, 29 days, or 27, 28, somewhere around that amount of days is going to be the 14th book. So it's glad that I kind of set my read along of the whole series right before the 14th book would come out. A new part of the continent is discovered, and they the whole team, the whole group goes over there and has to solve the mystery of why these dragons are being mind controlled. So I really enjoyed this book. It actually was probably almost one of my favorites of the whole Wings of Stars series, if not my favorite in the whole Wings of Fire series. It was just so many twists. It felt like there was so much action. I love the setting of the Poison Jungle. It's just everything really tied together well. I think that if Ty T. Sutherland brought this much attention to each and every one of the books she wrote, I think it would just be such a hit, honestly. I enjoyed every part of this. The characters, the new LGBTQ+ romance inside of it, all of it was just made my heart so happy. So I definitely recommend the Wings of Fire series if you want some wholesome middle grade dragon content. Next up, we've got Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the parallel to Empire of Storms in the Throne of Glass series. I did a whole review of the Throne of Glass series this month, and I'll leave it up there if I remember. So check it out if you haven't already. So basically what ends up happening is we're set with Kayal, Irene, and Nizreen. They go to the southern continent to heal Kayal and also rally troops for Terrasen and the north. And basically what ends up happening is there's this whole mystery that goes down. There's like this murder mystery almost, and there's a struggle for power, and the culture in the southern continent makes for an interesting political battle. I really enjoyed this book. It just had so much elements of culture and like details and settings that I really enjoyed. I thought that this was such like a cozy book to read. It had a really passionate romance inside of it, actually 2 passionate romances inside of it, and just the mystery and some of like the kind of culture again, like the settings. It really provided a great atmosphere for the books, and I enjoyed it so much. Alright, the next book that I read is Edifice Rex by Sophocles, and this was my first book of English 2 in high school. Yeah, my first school book. This is like the first time I'm actually talking about a book I read in school on my booktube channel, which is crazy. I actually ended up enjoying it, like the context and the intrigue around it was pretty cool. So basically, this story is a lot about fate versus free will, and oh, this is really hard to explain. But basically, his mother and father were the rulers of Thebes, and they were prophesized to their first child that they had would kill their father, which was Laius, and marry his mother, which is Jocasta. So they had this baby, but they didn't want the baby, of course, because of the prophecy, so they tried to go out and kill him. Yet, someone saved him, and he grew up in the land of Corinth, and basically he thought that his biological parents were the rulers of Corinth when they were actually the rulers of Thebes. And so he ran away when he found out the prophecy that he would kill his father and marry his mom, so that he ran all the way to Thebes. And basically he did end up killing his father and marrying his mom, and then this book kind of takes place with his discovery process of how he found out and like his reaction and just like that kind of journey and that self-discovery. So I thought the context was really interesting. The book itself I couldn't really understand, so I had to kind of rely on outside sources, but just like studying it and then like writing an essay about it, I just thought that this unit was great. So the next book I read is the Traitors Game by Jennifer A. Nielsen. Basically takes place with this girl named Kestra. She is growing up in the lava fields, and her father unexpectedly calls her back, but when she's on the way back, there is this rebel group that captures her like caravan, and she is forced to go back to her father's manor while also being held under captive and find this book that can overthrow the ruler, Lord Endrick, and his rule, his immortal like evil rule on the world. And so that she has to kind of go back, hide the secret that she's literally being held captive by like her pretended handsmaiden and protector, and she has to find this book, this sword, and she has to try to get it away because she doesn't want to do what her captors are telling her to. So it's a really interesting story. It just didn't really stand out to me that much. Like when I was reading it, I was kind of enjoying it. Like it was a good and solid like 3.5 or 4 stars. I just didn't really like remember a lot of it. It just kind of went through one ear out the other because I can't even explain it to you that well. So that kind of sums up my series up, or my thoughts about it. Like I probably want to continue on. I just don't know if I'm going to keep enjoying it because it's just, again, the romance, like there was just nothing that really caught my attention like her other books. So this book by Jennifer A. Nielsen was not as great as like, let's say, the False Prince series. It was so much more memorable to me and it really stood out, but just this did not. Next up, we've got Kindergash by Sarah J. Maas. Again, don't want to go too deep into this, but this is basically the final battle for the North for Selena and her friends, and it's like 984 pages. 984 pages, and it's filled with so much action. Like it's 984 pages, but it's filled to the brim with action and events and battles and war, so it really isn't boring. It's just a long book. And another thing to note about this book is that there are probably, I think I literally counted, there are over 10, maybe over 15 perspectives in this book. Like it is constantly switching from Nizreen, Irene, Kayal, Selena, Dorian, Manon, Adion, Elide, Locken, Rowan. Like there's so many characters that this book just takes place in covers, and it's so freaking cool to see how they all interact and weave together and just make for an awesome story. So I just really like this, and I did get a lot of emotions at the end. Let's just say I was tearing up a lot. Like there was just so much to do and so much to kind of read, and yeah, it for sure made me a bit emotional. Okay, I just got back from charging my camera and got one more book to talk about. Alrighty guys, last up we have got The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and this was another book that was severely hyped, in like Twitter, and I saw this like starting probably like in late November or early December. I started hearing so many people talk about it, and I immediately had it on hold so that I could read it. And it also was this month's book for the next chapter book club, which I was not planning to read, so I never talked about it because I thought the hold would not lapse, because like in the start of January it said I still have 10 more weeks for my hold, but it ended up coming early, and I managed to squeeze it into my January schedule. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyways, The Invisible Life by Addie LaRue. It is an awesome book, much better than I expected, and let's just talk about it. So basically, we are set with this young woman named Addie LaRue, and she is kind of like feels stuck in this life. She feels like with her gender and like with like the current time period, she feels like she can't do anything. She has no control. She's getting married. She's being forced into a marriage, and she just wants to get out of it. So one day she runs out on her marriage day, and she prays to this god, and he kind of gives her this deal that he can make her immortal, and she'll be free. And so like she'll do anything to be free, and so basically she'll sell her soul. But what ends up happening is that Addie LaRue ends up making a weird deal, because when she starts going to places, she realizes that everyone is forgetting her. So she'll meet someone, they'll walk away, and if she comes and says hi again, they'll be like, who are you? You know, so like everyone just forgets her, and she's been having this happen for 300 years when someone does not forget her, and they kind of develop this romance. So basically it's just a strong book, very filled with like literary and like thematic topics that are so well explored. I just think this is beautiful. I highly recommend it. Like just the way it has all these like themes explored, like immortality and like the selling of your soul, and just how selling your soul like affects you. Like, is it really worth it to be immortal, live for 300 plus years just to like have everyone forget you, or to sell your soul to have everyone love you, but then no one really says what they truly think about you, and like everyone sees what they want in you except not like what you really are. So there's just so many good topics and themes explored, and just like the writing. I hated like A Darker Shade of Magic by E.V. Schwab. This is like kind of like Aaron Morgenstern level writing. Like this is incredible writing, and I'm definitely going to try A Darker Shade of Magic just because of how good this was. Like I'm ready to dive more into V.E. Schwab now, because this just set my bar, my expectations so much higher for her. Like wowie. So poetic. Love it. Love this book. Alright friends, that wraps up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys' reading month went well. Make sure to leave a like on this video. It really helps to support me and just gives me all the motivation to read and keep on booktubing. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Make sure to subscribe down below. We're getting close to 1,750 subscribers, so thank you all so much for your support with that. Comment down below, what books have you read? I'm going to try to reply to. I don't think I have anything to do tonight, so I'll have a lot more time to reply to you guys, so definitely leave your thoughts down below and I'll try to reply. Also make sure to hit the notification bell and watch the video that I leave up there, and that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching again. See you soon. Bye guys, love you so much. Woo! And then that means I got 12. Anyways, whoa, my grammar is so weird here. I said that wrong. Why did I say Trisha Levenzeller? Yeah, Driel teams with to be free, but when instead